Will this ability of the players to hold their money in Bitcoin change the culture of the NBA and sports in general? Will players stop spending their money on fancy cars, limousines, and big houses when they realize, like Dan said, that even especially with their ginormous salaries, if they just hold the money, if they just save a little bit longer, they could have so much more? Josh Shigala.
Is it enormous or gigantic? I don't know. It's ginormous, but we. It's such a weird thing when you start to get into Bitcoin, because this is what happens, and this is why I've always said it's kind of a green thing. The greenies should embrace Bitcoin, because you tend to not want to spend stuff on crap anymore. You want to be less of a consumer. And because it's got to be really a thing that you really, really want, and that that you want it, even if you've had it for a year, you'll be like, yeah, I still love this thing, because every time you look at it, it's going to be more expensive. And so yeah, it might change the culture. I don't know. Maybe no more of this and more of I don't know, thumbing your phone. I don't know what we need a signal for Bitcoin. But yeah, could definitely change the culture. I hope so. I hope it changes the culture in the whole rap music, hip hop music, stuff like that, videos, all this sort of disgusting sort of obsession with baubles and stuff like that. Get real, folks. Get real. Change the world.
They were always fronting before about how much they had and what they were doing, but like Josh says, now maybe they'll be fronting about their savings. They'll be fronting about their accounts and how well secured their cold storage is and how they're high. But yeah, there isn't a symbol for like money going back into your wallet, or like taking the money back, not making it rain. Like saving, like going home for lunch, like not getting Starbucks, like negative rain.
Yeah, but taking the doggy bag,
Yeah, taking the doggy bag, eating leftovers. Dan Eve, like a boss, will the NBA players adopt frugality with their new Bitcoin?
Maybe like as it spreads to the rest of the ultra rich and the celebrities, instead of like MTV Cribs, we'll have MTV Ledger, where they just show a balance on their ledger and they're like, whoa, like walk around the ledger, and that's it. They walk around the house and they're like, oh my God, you've got no swimming pool. And they're like, yeah, because I've got Bitcoin instead. Whoa. And then they walk around to another area and they're like, oh, there's no gold plated like sofa or something. Like, oh no, because it's in here. Whoa. I don't know, maybe it'll change everyone's time preference, right? I think Josh has kind of hit the point where it's a throwaway world, right? Like my parents like had their TV they had like for 50 years, and and it took ages to get a new one, whereas me, I go through them like nobody's business, because you just like got to upgrade and you got to try things out, but it just your time preference changes because you don't want to spend the money. Like why would I spend it when I can get an even better, like if you think about it, I can get 500 TVs if I just hold on for another 3 years, and have a giant wall of TVs if I just don't spend this amount now. So I think it's kind of good for teaching people about time preference, and also I until I was, even though I worked in a finance company, I didn't really realize the importance of like compound interest and saving it and stuff until Bitcoin came along after like 8 years of working in a finance company. And then I was like, oh, now I get it. Like now my time preference is starting to change. So I think we could be into it could have a much wider, greener effect on the environment, other than to counter some of the non-renewables that are being used.
I did read a story once about an NFL player who was living in a trailer, but I don't think it was so much about Bitcoin or saving money. I think he just wanted to focus on the football. He didn't want any distractions. He lived near the stadium. He lived in a, relatively nice, I'm sure, but a camping trailer. Stefan Kinsella, your thoughts. Will it change the NBA? Will the players go from bragging about their big money to bragging about their big wallets?
Well, I mean, in seriousness, in due course, yes. I mean, right now, when interest rates are 0.01% or something, there's not much of a compounding effect. So people don't look at it. I mean, the natural state of humanity is to have a certain natural rate of time preference, and that can get lowered over time, which is a good thing, with increased capital savings and property rights and accumulation of wealth. But the existence of fiat money and its debasement, especially since 71, has led to this culture. I mean, it's affected how people view things. It's affected society in many, many ways. There's actually a classic, great article by the Austrian school scholar Paul Cantor called Hyperinflation and Hyperreality, Thomas Mann in Light of Austrian Economics. And he discusses the sort of the insidious effects of monetary inflation on the culture, character of society, including getting mortgages and leveraging yourself with debt and spending and disposing. So yes, I think that as we are able to save in a convenient store of value that goes up in value over time, that will over time affect people's preferences and even their character. And we can expect that to affect celebrities and these guys that have newly found wealth from sports or other activities. But I don't think there'll be anything special. They'll just be part of the general economy, the general society improving as money becomes sound once again.
All just proving that music video thrift shop was far ahead of its time. All the tags that he's busting. Extra bonus question. Let's talk basketball. I know you guys are totally prepared for this. Josh Shigala, who's your favorite basketball player?
It's got to be Jordan. I mean, I'm an 80s kid, Jordan all the way.
Dan, Eve, you sticking with Jordan or do we have another player?
Daffy Duck in Space Jam, like the old Space Jam. No, it's got to be Jordan. It's got to be Jordan.
The old Space Jam, much better than the new Space Jam. Stefan Kinsella, do you have a favorite player or are you going with Jordan?
Gotta love Jordan. I just saw him, but my family is just watched all the documentary about him. And but LeBron James is just something else to me. Something about the guy that always gets me. So I'll go with LeBron.
I also love that documentary. It was fantastic. Although the new Space Jam, not nearly as good as the old Space Jam. I think I got to join the panel and going with Jordan. I was going to talk a little bit about Luka Doncic and how the Kings should have drafted him and now the Mavericks have him and what a great story that was. And also I was going to recommend, there's a documentary on Netflix called Malice at the Palace. Really makes you rethink that incredible fight in 2004 where the fans in Detroit were throwing stuff at the players from the Pacers and some of the players went into the stands. Incredible documentary. They're doing a lot of these days. I think something about it's been 10, 15 years. It's blown everyone by. They're ready to talk about it now. So check that out. Not a lot of basketball talk on this show, but sometimes we fit some in.